We are about to start. This is Robot Nuke. Now let's hear it for the man, the myth and the legend in his own head, Eric Nuke Hudson.
Hey. It is Monday night, day 15. So halfway through this little challenge, and I must admit, I'm not feeling well still, but I'm feeling better than I was because I actually, right before this, took an ice plunge. So got one of those ice plunge tubs or whatever, and finally got the courage to do it. And I'll just say this much: it was cold. I'll say I spent less than a minute in it. My wife says it was 20 seconds. I think I spent more than 20 seconds. But it was very, very cold. But for some odd reason, 5 minutes later, I felt marginally better. So if I can get to that 5 and 10 minutes, who knows how much better I can feel. So tonight, it's I'm going to start this one off with the interest rates. If you haven't been tracking, and I'm just using Mortgage News Daily, so this is a national rate. Right now, we're looking at 7.44%, which is absolutely outrageous. That's for 30-year 15 fixed to 6.85, FHA 6.86, and VA 6.88. These are, as you probably know, ridiculous rates. If you want to pound in and uh, talk about it a little bit, go ahead. I got a few of you here, which is great. Those of you watching the replay, what's your opinion of what's going on with the interest rates? Because they're not good. I want to talk a little bit today, and I'm going to decide. The numbers are the same as I had yesterday. They didn't really change. Uh, so it still looks like we're going to be down a little bit, about $5,000. About the middle of the month kind of cements it. It's going to change very little after that. So the market actually kind of peaked over. So let's not hope that it goes down more. I think a lot of it has to do with these interest rates. But we'll see, because a lot of these people locked in their interest rates like 30, 45 days ago when it was lower. I don't know how this is going to affect stuff for the rest of the month going into next month. But as I said before, it's not great. I was going to talk about was the market and how sellers want to get the most money they possibly can, while buyers want to pay the least money possible. So I ran across this one this weekend. Um, so a house, and it has solar. The solar is on solar, but on a loan. Like I discussed yesterday, solar only adds value to a house if it is on solar and paid off, aka a check was written. So this house is on a loan. Well, they've had interest in the house before, been under kind of contract. I looked in the MLS. There was nothing in there that showed they went under contract, which means the agent didn't change in the MLS, probably to preserve it a little bit, because buyers, you got all that information and you keep doing the same thing. Well, it's been under contract, so I can offer less because it came back off the contract. Well, remember when I look at, hold on here. Remember when I'm always talking, I never understand these price increases? Well, today I saw an example of a price increase. So we offered actually more than they were listed for, which was being generous, as long as the seller paid off uh, the loan for the, paid off the loan for the solar. Well, they rejected it, saying that they're going to pay off the solar, but they now want to raise the price to an absolutely unbelievable amount. They've only owned the house a few years. They've paid not even one half. It was, less than one half of what they're trying to sell it for now, and now they're trying to raise the price. It's that kind of greed thing sometimes. People get in there and they get all greedy. I want this for the house, and it's not what it sell is worth. It's what they want. So, let's just put it this way: it's well over As a matter of fact, with the price increase, would make it $250,000 over what they paid for it just a few years ago. Now, they did make some minor improvements, but nothing to justify this. The only thing that justifies it is the market has gone up a lot. But even when I look at the comparables, it was overpriced from the comps. And now they're trying to put it 40,000 over what it's worth. And I see people doing this over and over again. They don't understand why their houses aren't selling, or they're not having success in things, real estate. It's the market, it's the market, it's the market. And it doesn't matter what you want, it's what the market is. It's kind of like I get upset with people who, they'll look at a house, then they go, you think we can, think they'll take X amount for it? Well, I haven't even looked to see what they're doing, because you can kind of read into the MLS and see what's going on. Well, it's underpriced. Well, why is it underpriced? Because a lot of times people underprice things to get more action. I kind of talked about it before. I accidentally fat fingered in the wrong price on a listing one time before I could leave my office. I mean, I literally pressed, to submit to the MLS before I could leave my office, and I was in a hurry. I got a phone call. Before I could get downstairs, I got a phone call. Get into my car, I got a phone call. Pulling out, I got a phone call. Before I left the gate of my subdivision, get a phone call. And I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. So I asked that last agent, what price did you see in the MLS? They told me. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, I fat fingered that in wrong. It's the wrong price. And people, like buyers especially, don't understand. I mean, actually, neither side understands the power of the eBay effect. For those of you who've been around long enough, remember back when eBay, they sold stuff for $1, but it never sold for $1. It sold for $500. They may have sold for more than it was worth because people lost their minds. And it's a pricing strategy that is, well, with the exception of when we had our little dip, which made no sense, underpricing a property always gets you more money, except for in that case. Because we had a real rough ride when interest rates got ridiculously high, going up 7% and stuff, and the market did one of these because nobody could afford to buy a house. Yeah, it was actually pretty ridiculous. So I always say, look at what the market is first, whether you're trying to list a house, the offer you take, and even with I did the numbers. The most it was going to take, I mean, the market, you got to do this appraisal thing. Most it's going to be is 10,000 less than they want for it now. They are in a losing position because the numbers don't lie. Okay, still no questions? Well, remember, a lot of this is your time. So going back, let's just look at the market real quick until somebody has a question, hopefully. Okay, so the new listings over the last 7 days, which is a really good indicator because it kind of aggregates things a little bit better. We're looking at 935 back on market 213, decreases 510, increases 212. These decreases, these people who finally come to reason, but a lot of times they don't come to reason well enough. One of the worst things I see is somebody who has a house, and let's say it's worth 350. They ask 400 for it, and you're like, we need to decrease this price. Okay, let's decrease it by $1,000. You really think that works? No. So you end up with multiple price decreases, which gets you less money. Under contract show 409. Tell me how I'm really sounding. In my head, as stuffy as it is, I sound completely different. So I have to watch the replay to see how I sounded. Under contract no show 649, sold 741. So this is a good sign here. Number of ones coming under contract, that includes contingent on sale here. But as you know, the sales are not catching up. But if you look a month ago, there was only like in the 700-800s here. Plus you have things like the temp off markets, which is 36 withdrawals, 183. A lot of these people withdraw because they want X for the house and they know what they want. So they have to withdraw it, and then it eventually gets sold for what it was worth. Withdrawn conditional coming soon is 100. I forgot to say it here. It's 71, 100 for 100 for coming soon. That is pumping up. Contingent on sale 10. Let's just look over the last 24 hours. It shouldn't be that good because it was a Sunday, and actually that is pretty decent. So a lot of these may have come on the market this morning. Some of them because brokers didn't have a chance to sign anything over the weekend. So I'm going to say a lot of these came on the market. So this is a good sign, hopefully stabilizing the prices. See, again, these price decreases. Look at this. Almost a third quarter were, I'm sorry. Yeah, these are back on markets. And the back on markets, these are people, you get under contract and you end up, falling out of contract. Let's talk about falling out of contract for a second. The biggest one people are falling out of contract for now is the inspection. That's the biggest one. If you want to sell your house and not have to worry about much, get an inspection ahead of time. I'm serious. It's only a few $100. Would you rather have your house sit on the market for 3 months or for a month or a weekend? That inspection makes all the difference because people have so much information now. They will go in and they'll go like, oh, this house has been off the market 3 times. Well, why did it come off the market and come back on the market 3 times? Well, somebody does something or they buy it or put an offer in on it, get accepted. They do an inspection and you're like, nope, nope, nope. They need to take it home as it is. Well, see how well that works out a lot of times. I've seen plenty of people to say when people, the agent has in the remarks, as is, a lot of people shy away except for investors. And what are investors known for? Paying pennies on the dollar. And I'm sure a lot of these people don't want pennies on the dollar. They want the full price. It's kind of like cash offers. You'll have these people. I've had people go like, well, I'd like to take one of the, again, during COVID, cash offers were the bomb. Nobody can understand it now, but you see all these people dang near going out of business. But remember, once bitten, twice shy, they ain't ever doing that again. And again, greed. I saw people that are getting offers. I'm saying like, how are you getting this offer? This doesn't make any sense. Can I get more? And they kept looking for more and more, and the market changed. So you don't know when the market's going to change. I don't think the market's going to change anytime soon, or else the new home builders wouldn't be trying to build as much as they possibly could. Got a question here finally. Yes. Okay, do you see more people falling out of contract over finances these days or not? Some do, but the majority are actually falling out for inspections. The ones who fall out over finances weren't prepared to buy a house to begin with. There are a lot of crappy lenders out there. I think I've talked about this one. Usually, if it falls out for financing, it was because of a crappy lender. Usually, there's some other things out there like something I'd never heard of, and I've only seen happen one time ever. If you get a government loan, there's a system called cavers, and cavers is if you've defaulted on any type of a government loan, you can't get another government loan. So in other words, I saw a person, they defaulted on their student loans, and it wasn't even the person, it was the person's spouse. The veteran was okay. The spouse had defaulted on their student loans, and they were denied a VA loan because of it. That's that one. Another one I had, person had been working here in Vegas for years. They were working a remote job. back before remote jobs were popular. And part of the underwriting process, they're like, okay, you work a remote job. Do you have permission to work here? Turns out the person had been working here for years and didn't have permission to work from Las Vegas. So they lost their loan. But for the most part, most of them are going to go through. If you're working with a good lender, I'd say it's like 98%. Again, the biggest problem is with these interest rates. Look at that. What was that? 7.44%. Make sure I'm not saying anything wrong here. 7.44% on a conventional loan. People want to be delivered a good house now. They don't want this. I want you to take it as is. That's where the problem comes. Nobody wants the as is, and they got to pay this kind of money. Because if you look at the numbers, you buy a $400,000 house from me, you get almost $3,000 a month in payment. Do you want to go fix up a house and you have $3,000 a month in payment? If you had bought a house back before the interest rates went up, you could have had a $750,000 house. Those you don't know, a $750,000 house is a huge difference between a $450,000 house. Matter of fact, why not? We'll just go into it. Let me get into mortgage calculator here. So watch this. Okay, so we're going to do the median price of a home right now is $450,000. And we're going to pretend you are doing a 3%. No, we're going to do a 3.5% because you're FHA. And use FHA for today. What would I say? 6.83. 30-year term, taxes for that kind of house is going to be about $2,000. I believe it's 0.75 for MIP. Insurance is getting up there. Let's call it $850. Not going to worry about an HOA right now. And it's FHA loan. Let's calculate that. Your payments are $33.48. So that's a $450,000 house. Let's turn this around. Still the same down payment. We're going to take this interest rate down to about 2.5%. Everything else is going to remain the same. I'm going to change this to $700,000. Let's see how close we can get to 33.48. 33.28, close enough for government work. Now we're going to go in here. We're going to do a search on 450 houses. See if we can find one that's just right at it. Got 39 of them. We'll do single family. Should just be single family. Okay, there were some that weren't. Now let's just look at some results. So let's look around town. Actually, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to, because it doesn't do it the way I want it to. Let's just look at some place like this. Okay, this is a 450 house. Nice. It's a nice house. Okay, let's change that to a $700,000 house. Oops. A little bit older, but you see the difference? Well, let me look at virtual staging. The reason I want to look at the virtual staging is I just got a virtual staging thing and I want to see how it compares. Much larger house. Let's look at this. This is a 4,000 square foot house. Look at that. That is $700,000. You see the difference between 450 and 700,000? And that dog is driving me crazy. He only barks. I don't know. Maybe people are walking at this time. He'll bark if there's another dog outside walking. Okay, thanks a lot. Good. Okay. Yeah, you see, there's a huge difference between 450 and 700. And that's what the seller is asking for somebody to pay. it's the same payment as before the interest rate switched up. Back when people were getting free money. Which would you rather have? The 450 house or the $700,000 house? Answer me that one. Riddle me that, Batman. I think most people want the $700,000 house. So it's robbing a lot of folks. Not only that, imagine what it's doing to lower income folks, just that interest rate. But anyway, because that 450, that would have been, hold on. Let me go back in here and make sure I don't do this. Let's go back to that 450. Back in 2.5% when you could get it. It's 22.24. It's a $1,100 difference. And this is what we took away from entry-level folks. To buy, okay, hold on, let me see here. I'm going to change this around. I'm going to go back to my 6.83. Whoops, wrong one. 6.83. And I want to see what it'll take to get down to 22.24. So a $300,000 house. That's close enough. So instead of being able to afford an entry-level house of 450, you can only afford an entry-level house of 300,000 right now. People have a limited amount of income, and when they're moving in, they want I don't want to use the word perfect. They want a house they don't want to have to worry about for a minute. And that's one of the things I don't get it. Like the one I was talking about at the beginning of this, I'm just going to say it's an entry-level house. They paid just a few years ago $150,000. And they're looking to make $250,000 after living there for a few years. Why can't you put $5,000 into the house to make it right? You may see, XYZ dollars. What the buyer sees is how much they have to pay per month and what it takes away from their family. So that is the dilemma that we have. Every seller wants the most money possible, the quickest turn time, the least hassle, and the fix nothing. Every buyer now wants the least amount, somebody to buy down their interest, and a house that's not falling apart for the $3,000 a month they're paying for it. These interest rates are killing people. And the worst part, and it really is the worst, if these interest rates get down to 5.5%, we may return to the crap we had a couple of years ago. Paying 30 to 50,000 over. There is so much pent-up demand out there, but people are going like, why should I go into this little $300,000 house for $2,300 a month? I could pull up $300,000 houses. It's not going to be the greatest, but they're there. Hold on, let me see. I'll pull up some $300,000 houses. Let's just be fair about it. I'm using single family right now, but once you get to that point, you're really looking for townhomes. So let's see here. Let's just look at $300,000 homes. So there's a single family, 1,000 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, built in 1954. Just look at the front. That's your $300,000 house. Let's find another single family. It's 1,400 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2 bath, built in 1962. If you can only afford $2,300 a month, this is what you're getting. Manufactured home, $300,000. Actually, that's a good price, so it may look nice. Okay, double wide. That's not too bad. The point is, you got to go into a manufactured home now instead of buying a single family home. You've got to go into a condo, got to go into a townhome, when 2 years ago you could go into a nice $450,000 home that you just could have built from. So that's all I got. Any more questions? Want to make sure that it's actually a nice little number here of people. If you don't have any, if I want to make sure that I answer all your questions before I figure out what to do next. I wanted to go to see the mystery movie tonight, but they said I've used up all of my movies, but I'm saying in my app I still have more, but it won't let me get the mystery movie. Yeah, AMC's doing this thing now where 2 weeks before the release of a movie, you don't know what the movie is. You just can go to the movie and it's a surprise. So I did it for the first time last week or 2 weeks ago. Okay. Any questions? Okay. I'll start with the end spill. If you're watching this on a replay, go ahead and leave a question. I'll try to answer it on the next one. I did have stuff from the last one, but they weren't really questions. It was more like, one person did go like, yeah, oops, I thought I sent that. Shoot. Uh, uh, the question, wasn't a question. It was like, yeah, I thought so about solar. Yeah, most agents don't even understand. And this one, I'm talking to the agent, and I saw like 2 houses with solar this weekend. None of them had any answers. It's just they flooded this valley. They flooded it. If you have any questions, ask them there. I'll see if it's a good subject. We got 15 more days with me. I don't know what I'm going to do after the 15 days, except for maybe every day I will do an ice plunge right before this and see if I can build my tolerance up and get all the way up to the maximum 10 minutes they say you should do for it. Somebody ask in the comments or on here, how's that ice plunge going? Because it takes a lot. It was cold. Okay. There are no other questions. I'm going to end it right here. Oh, call, text, email if you need anything real estate related. Get on the calendar. Blah, blah, blah. I am so grateful that 5 of you stuck out with me to the end. For those 5 of you, I appreciate it. And I hope all 5 of you show up tomorrow and help me end this on a strong note for the next 15 days. See y'all.